Yo, what up, what up? From Hypebeast Radio, I'm Manny, and this is Mike Line, a show that looks to discover the origin story of your favorite artist or major player in the music industry. We ask the questions that you always wanted to get answered, and you never know who may pop by. For this episode of Mike Line, we talk to Justine Skye about her new music, finding her confidence, past mistakes, and so much more. Welcome to Mike Line. What's up, what's up, what's up? This is Mike Line. This is going to be our season finale. And we have a special guest, someone I've been a fan of, and I'm so happy for her to come in. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
What's up, guys? It's Justine Skye.
Yes,
Woo!
yes.
Finale! Pew, pew, pew.
Okay, so I discovered your music, like I feel like most of your fans, was because of Tumblr. For me, when I started Tumblr, it was like this, I don't know, it was like this corner of the web where I was just like, oh, I can just post whatever the fuck I want. It was like a mood board.
Yeah, it's like your own website.
Exactly. And so I was a kid who took magazines, like editorials and pictures, and put it all over the wall in my room as wallpaper. So when I saw Tumblr, I was like, oh, this is that, but digital. And so it was really cool. You could do GIFs. That's when I was like, oh, snap, GIFs are like really cool and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I felt like my level of Tumblr was like a level 2. You essentially saw Tumblr and turned it into like a world, which was like something when I saw, I was like, dude, this is so interesting. Like, it's so cool how you made this to be like more than just like your wallpaper. It was just like, this is like kind of my world I'm sharing with y'all.
Yeah.
So I guess just take me to Den and like you first discovering Tumblr. When did you first discover Tumblr? What made you like even try to explore creativity, how to do all that stuff?
Well, I guess, my friend introduced me to Tumblr. Her name is Jade. It was in high school, I think like 9th or 10th grade. And she was on Tumblr. She was pretty cool on there. But she was like more part of like the emo, like bubblegum emo crowd of like people like kind of like K-pop-ish, not K-pop-ish, but like kind of like that like emo kawaii like kind of world that is created on Tumblr. And she was just like telling me about it. We would like hang out and she'd like always be on Tumblr. And she was like, you should get on Tumblr. And I'm like, what is that? Like MySpace, everything, like, or whatever it was on. I was like, I want Twitter. Like, the hell is Tumblr? And then she was like, yeah, I have like 3,000 followers. And like, it's just like my little community. And she showed me her Tumblr and like, she's like, I talk to them. Like, you can be anonymous or you cannot be anonymous. And you just like repost like things. I just love it. And I was just like, At first I got into it to like compete with her to like be like, I'm gonna get more followers than you. Even though at the time, like I didn't believe that I was cool at all. Like I was just like, there's no way 3,000 followers. That's crazy. Like I'm not like, how could I ever get that? But then I was like, I'm gonna try, like whatever, like who cares? What is this? So I get on Tumblr and like me and my best friend at the time, her name was Alexa, we would just like be making like best friend videos and just like hanging out and like doing weird things on YouTube and like posting them, not like inappropriate weird things, just like funny little kid like weird things and stupid videos and just like taking pictures with her camera and like just posting them on there. And then I started to like discover this community of just kids who just wanted to create and like share and be like, oh, this is what you're doing in New York, this is what we're doing in California, this is what we're doing in DC, this is what we're doing like all over the world. And it wasn't scary or dangerous at the time. Like obviously like nowadays people, there's like crazy psychopaths on the internet now. But at that time it was very just kids coming together and just like, because for me, my family and my grandparents were so confused at like when they were like, you have friends from other places. Like you're only supposed to be friends with like your family members and people you go to school with. Like, how do you know this person from the Bronx? And I was just like, and I was like, I met them on Tumblr. And then so it just started to grow. And then eventually I started to have more followers than my friend Jade. And she was just like, whoa, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just wearing crazy colored lipstick and taking stupid pictures with my friends. And it kind of like got out of control. I started meeting other like people that were popping on Tumblr, and we started to just like come together and create this movement of like the Tumblr famous kids, like the New York Tumblr crew. And it wasn't until like after that phase of my life that I realized the different categories of Tumblr. Like there's so many different worlds of Tumblr. Like it was just so huge, but this was, I guess, definitely a point in a lot of Black kids' childhood.
Yeah.
Like if you're from like the East Coast or even like some kids on the West Coast, like they're just like, man, I used to like follow you on Tumblr. And I'm just like, wow, that's so crazy. They're like, yeah, we used to come to your Tumblr meetups. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like insane.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Tumblr, I feel like around that time, you said it's like perfectly, there were always bad people, but I felt like and during the Tumblr heyday, it was just like a hub of creativity. It's just like kids just posting what they, love that they probably can't express or don't know how to express or are afraid to express it from judgment.
Yeah, it was more personal too. Yeah. It was a lot less judgmental.
Yeah,
and it was just it was very like understanding. Yeah, it's more of a conversation, and I feel like there isn't that platform anymore where people can go to have a real conversation. I guess like Reddit, but like that's more like for like cyber geeks and stuff like that. Like, but where people can really just go express their feelings, like. Everything is just full of trolls now. Yeah. And like bots and like crazy. Like you can't really like spill your heart out on Instagram and expect someone to actually care. They'd be like, all right, bitch, post another picture. Like we don't care about this one. 4 likes. And then the next one, 100,000 likes. And it's kind of just like, all right. But on Tumblr, it was, you got to see and like really digest whatever it was that someone was sharing. And so I kind of miss those days. Everything's so like fast paced now. And like,
and definitely 100% would you agree, because I feel like now social media has just turned to either,
it's a promotional thing.
Yeah. It's like promotional. It's like, just hateful or it's just garbage. It's like it's just a lot of garbage. And you get that 10% where you get these really clever, funny memes or like, a Twitter thread of just like that, like what's that Beyonce thread that went viral? It was like if you were Beyonce's assistant and then you have to like.
Oh, I didn't see that one. But Twitter was dying down for a minute and then it just like revived itself. Yeah. Like it revives itself crazy. Because I was like kind of done with Twitter for a while. Yeah. I was like, what? Like I didn't delete it, but I was just like, I don't really go on Twitter. What the heck I'm gonna do on there? And now I'm just like, whoa, this is where I get the news from.
100%.
It's my number one place to get news. I'm like, oh, this is trending. Oh, this is what's happening today.
Exactly. Like, I check it every morning. Like I tell people, like check your trending topics every morning. I get 90% of my news from there, just because I feel like you're just on the go a lot, and like you don't sit down like a generation before, like 6 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news.
Oh, I hate the news. I hate like television news. It's very depressing.
It's just all of a sudden it's just like propaganda.
And now we're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. Propaganda. This is why Trump is crazy. This is why I love Trump, and this is why the world's ending. That's essentially the news. 24/7.
But also the news is just like they're late.
Yeah,
they're late.
Exactly.
Like you find it on Twitter before you find it anywhere else.
Easily. So I think what's cool about when you were coming up on Tumblr is that you were unknowingly creating a brand, and that brand then blew up and you became an artist. What I guess I'm curious also is that like during those times where you did blow up, you had to be like teenager around that time, and you were invited to all these like events and stuff like that. What was it like going to things when you're just like a teenager, like a teenage kid? Like, what was that like? Like, what was the good and bad?
Well, I kind of grew up in the industry. My mother's an entertainment attorney. So I grew up around it. I got to see a lot of it. She would bring me along with her. She's just a single mother. Like, she's an entrepreneur. And she managed producers, songwriters, and so I grew up around it. I would be with her at meetings, go with her to events that were appropriate for me to attend with her. And actually, she brought me to a BMI panel when I was like 14. Oh, wow. And that's kind of like the first place where I got over my stage fright. And they were doing a Q&A, and I went up there and I just sang. My question was, can I sing for you guys? And then after that, everybody was like, oh, can I rap for y'all? Like, I gotta. And then they were just like, no, you should have did it first. But I went up there and I did it. And that's when she realized that I was serious about being an artist. So before like even Tumblr came about, I was still pursuing a musical career. And she introduced me to some people that she knew and trusted. Because it was kind of hard. Like a lot of people, like they know my mom, they knew me, and they were just like, oh, you're so cute. Like you want to sing? Like, of course, everyone in the industry's kid wants to be like a rapper or a singer or whatever it is. And they kind of get like pushed to the side because they don't necessarily like care. I mean, obviously like I was just young and I didn't let that discourage me. I wasn't really aware of like how crazy people were curving me until I got older. And I realized like the game, like, oh, this curve game is crazy in this music industry. But at the time, like I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna just go sing on YouTube. Like I'm gonna just go do whatever I'm doing, make funny videos and just live my life and figure it out.
Yeah.
And by building that fan base that I had like on Tumblr, and then when Instagram came about, moving on over to Instagram, that is what, and like seeing and everyone like looking at all the Tumblr meetups and just like seeing how impactful this movement was that was being created on social media caused labels to reach out.
Yeah.
And because I put out a mixtape and on Dat Piff, which I thought at the time was so inappropriate. I was like, oh my God, I'm a little girl. I'm like 16, 17. I think I was like 16, yeah.
Oh wow.
And I was like, am I allowed to put things on Dat Piff?
It'd be like your R&B mixtape and like dedication.
Yeah, it was just like crazy, like Gucci Mane's new project and like and then Sky High by Justine. Yeah. And I was just like, I was trying to fit in, so I just called it Sky High. But yeah, and so like I put out that project, and then labels started to reach out, and it was actually like a couple of times. It was like 3 labels, and I remember I was applying to college at the time too, and I really wanted to go to NYU, which is funny because I'm like doing something there tomorrow, so that's crazy how like life works out. But I really wanted to go to NYU, and I got denied.
What? Oh, yeah.
And but then at the same time as I got told I wasn't going to be attending NYU, I got a record deal. So I was just like, I made a YouTube video. I remember I was like, I got some bad news, because it was like a thing. I was like, guys, I'm applying to NYU. Like, fingers crossed, pray for me. And then I was like, so it's kind of embarrassing. I was like, so guys, I didn't get in, but I'm going to be signed to Atlantic Records. Woo! Yeah. And there was like a big old, everyone was so happy about it.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just kind of like, oh. Now it's very like lackluster now, but it's like.
But it had to be a cool thing. I
feel
like
it was so cool.
It started the path to, I guess, to now.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating is that you identified early that like this is what I want to do, and it was not like it was just like a fearlessness for it. It's because you're just like it's pretty clear that early on you made up your mind and was like, this is it. Like I found it. And that your mother actually was behind you and was like, yeah, go for it. I mean, that had to be reassuring for you to have the backing.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, she wasn't at first, because obviously, like, being in the industry, you know, like, how harsh it can be and, like, the ups and the downs of it. And, like, no one in the industry really wants their kid to be in it because they know how crazy it is. So it's kind of something, like, as a kid, if that's what you want to do, you have to figure it out. You have to prove that that's what you want to do. You can't just think because so-and-so is your parent that it's just going to work for you. You actually have to put in the effort or you'll get like chewed up and spit out. And so, but then I showed my mom that I was serious about this, and yeah, she is behind me. She's my number one cheerleader and my number one supporter just in all of this, like from the beginning. So really, really appreciate her.
What's some of the advice she gave you early on and then to now?
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not when it comes to like remembering advice people gave me, I'm not the best.
I guess, is there something that what does your mom tells you or do to like to motivate you or to keep you encouraged? Does she be like, oh good? Because I see her at like pretty much most of your events that you do, and she be like, there you go, Justine, you got it. Or does she be like, you'd be okay, figured it out?
She just be chilling. She just be chilling. She kind of gives me my space and lets me do my own thing, because we know that we're both very different people, and so we just figure out what works for us.
What makes you different?
I'm more like of a chill like type person. My mom's more like, we gotta get this done right now, we gotta get this done, everybody. And I'm just like, yo, like honestly, if I'm about to perform, you gotta move that somewhere else. So I'm just like, she knows it's just like we found our pattern. Just like, I need my space. Like when it comes to like my personality, I feel like I'm more like my dad, because my dad's very like chill and like just really relaxed and don't want no problems with nobody. And then my mom's like, what did you say? No, we need this right here. We ordered this couch. We said this couch was on our rider.
Oh wow.
She's like the one that like gets things to really, really happen, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. No, it's not a problem.
Nice.
But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
But in real life, I'm just like, no, it's cool. Because she's the one that has to like deal with everything. Like she deals with all the shit from like everyone and like filters it before it gets to me. So like I can understand that. But it's just like, all right, Mom, we need you to zen out too. Like you got to worry about yourself too sometimes. But we're figuring it out.
Nice. So you got signed to Atlantic when? What age?
I was 17.
17. And you're what, 24, 25?
I am now 24. Yeah,
24.
my birthday was the other day.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I know. I feel like I'm getting old.
Not even.
Honestly, when I hit 25, I was having like a kind of like an early life crisis when I like in my 23, and I was like, oh my God, my life is almost over. Like I'm getting, and I was like, you know what? I'm tripping. I'm just 23.
Very.
And now I'm 24, so I'm like, all right, like, okay, I just had to talk with myself. I'm still young. When I hit 25, like, I'm gonna feel like a real adult. Like, I'm like, I can't do like dumb shit anymore. Yeah. And just get away with it.
I feel like you got to like 27. After 27, you're like, okay.
20, but 25 is the beginning to like get your shit together.
Yeah. I feel like
27 is like, all right, you just a piece of shit now.
Yeah. Because you know what? I'm trying to think. What was the ages when they were on Girlfriends? What were their ages? I can't remember. I feel like they were late 30s. It was early 30s or late 20s.
I don't know. I feel like I also got to remind myself too, because I feel like in the industry you grow up really fast.
Exactly.
So it's like I feel like my time's like coming to an end because like I've just like been around this and like seen it. But then I'm just like, but then I look at the rest of the world. I'm like, oh wait, I'm chilling.
Yeah, yeah. Because that was actually what I'm leading to. I was gonna say, so you've been doing this essentially for 7 years professionally. I guess in these 7 years, I guess how have you evolved as like an artist, or not even as an artist? How are you involved as within the music industry and just like, you know, because you've gone through still 7 years of like important years in just like a person's life. When you go from like teenager, from below 18, then you get 18, then you become 21 when you're legally, I guess 18 is legally adult, 21 you can drink. So I feel like 21, you're an adult. And then till now, 24. Like how's Justine Skye evolved or just grown?
I feel like I'm still growing and right now I feel like I'm in the best place that I've ever been in my life, where I'm just not being as passive as I once was about everything. Cause I was saying like, I don't really like problems or anything like that. So I would just like let people like step on me, or like just if I had an opinion and like no one else supported me, I wouldn't fight for myself. I would just be like, all right, okay, I guess they know what's good for me. Like, I guess they know, but at the end of the day, only you know what's good for you. Truly. I mean, like, yeah, some people may be right and like lead you in a good path, but then there will be people that just want to turn you into whatever it is like they want you to be. And I realized that may work for some people, but for me, that doesn't work. And because I'm the type of person where like if there's an elephant in the room, like you'll see it. So like, yeah, the song sounds good, but when I have to go perform it or when I have to go like talk about it or whatever, then people are just like, oh, you can tell she doesn't give a fuck about this song. Like you can tell this has nothing to do with her. This is just not her. Doesn't sound like her. I don't get like, I didn't look like how my music sound. Like when they were like, you don't look like you make this type of music. Like you look cool. Like you're a cool person, but this isn't cool. So it's like this not like connecting
and matching up.
And it's such a like, cause like, I mean, my songs in the past, I'm not gonna say like they were all trash, but things happen for a reason. So I was like finding my sound, but the difference between like the way people are reacting to this new music that I just put out yesterday and the music in the past is kind of like, they were supporting it because they like me. Now they're supporting it because they like the music. Yeah. And it's like, it's such a huge difference. And it's just like, whoa. I was just actually talking to Sid, actually, and she was like, congratulations. Like, it sounds like so dope. And I was just like, this is so dope. Like, my friends and my peers are like, they love my music. Yeah. Like, because I know they love me when now, like, they love my music too. So that's like, it's the tightest thing I've ever done. Because before I would like try to force people to like my music. I would like always be like, yo, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. And I was like, you know what? I don't care what anyone thinks about this.
Wow. So 2 questions come to my mind. First one in particular, in that, how did you notice that? Was it just like people just randomly reaching out to you like, yo, this shit is fire, that never reached out before?
Yeah. A lot of people, I'm seeing like a lot of people say like, I don't normally like Justine's music, but like this EP is fire. I'm seeing like a lot of that. And I'm just like, I'm not offended by it because I'm just like, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't really like that stuff either. It was cool, but like it's not something I like listened to like on my own time. And I had to start realizing like why. I mean, one of my friends was like, why don't you make the type of music that you listen to? And I'm just like, why don't I? And I remember because like I actually maybe yesterday or the day before yesterday I went back in my Dropbox and I was like listening to old things that I made and I was like, man, what? I used to be writing bars. I'm like, why didn't I ever put this out? It's because like when you're at a label, they're only looking for one thing, which is a radio record. So if that's not it, then they just don't want to put anything behind it. They don't want to put any money behind it. They don't want to push it. They're just like, well, if this can't go to radio, then what are we supposed to do with this? And it's kind of like, damn, it's like very discouraging. So as I was like, when I was signed, I kind of got into that pattern, especially like my first song that I released to the label was Collide. That was my first single like at a record label, and it was R&B, but it was at a time when R&B wasn't popular. Like it wasn't like something that people looked for, and like it went to radio, and I think it did pretty well for what it was, but it could have, like, if that song would have came out today by like another artist, not me, but like it probably would have done really well in today's society where R&B is thriving, like or there's a fight for R&B. Yeah. So yeah, and like streaming wasn't that big of a thing back then either, which it wasn't even that long ago, but it was. It was like 5 years.
5 years ago, it was a total different market.
Yes.
And I guess my curious is that, do you think the labels are just always slow about these things? Because I feel like the labels sometimes they have an idea of what works. They have this idea of what works. Yet it's always the people setting the tone, and then the labels didn't have to react to what the tone that the people set. I feel like it's a common theme I see.
Oh my God. It's like, it's kind of like weird because it's not that hard to like realize, and it's like they just don't want to realize it. But it's like it's something that always confused me. It's like, don't you want to make a new artist pop off? Like that should be every label's like main initiative to like make this new artist pop off. But no, they want to put all their eggs into one basket for something that's already successful, that will already thrive on its own, and well, first of all, I don't understand why labels sign 50 million people at the same time. It's kind of just like, what are you doing? And then on top of that, you don't support it. So it's kind of like you're wasting everyone's time because they're putting, and it sucks because like as an artist signed to a label, you put your trust into them. And these people are just doing their job. So it's not anything personal. These people are just doing their job. At the end of the day, you have to be your own like superhero. Yeah. Like they're not gonna save you. They don't care about you until you're popping off. Yeah. Like, and you have to make yourself pop. That's really what it is. They're not gonna make you. Today's society, they're not like, there's no like artist development anymore. Yeah. So it's like you got to do all the work, and once you've done it, then they'll just hop on and be like, we did it. Oh yeah, then they celebrate. Not no we. It ain't no we. Like what are you talking about? Yeah. And then the other question I had was that for you, someone who came from a creative space where like you are putting out your truth essentially, and then gets noticed, and then gets fame, quote, lack of a better term, and then the label comes to you. It had to be, I guess, shocking when instead of investing in like you and your vision, they're like, okay, we're investing in, I guess, the subject. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like, all right, we got you now, but I think this is what can take you, and it's completely away from what you are. Yeah, and then they just like they kind of just like strip you back and like put you into the same kind of like system that they think works, which is like, oh, do this, an overly produced photo shoot, and then like we're gonna do the album. And it's kind of like this method that they have that they just like attach to like a female artist, where it's just like, this is how it goes. This is how it's worked for years. Yeah. This is how it's gonna work now. And it's just like, I'm gonna put them in the same studio with the same people that we put this person in the studio with, and like it's just all gonna work. And it's like, no, like that can work for someone who wants that. Exactly. But if you don't want that, it will show. Yeah. And it's shown. Yeah. Like it's shown for years. It took me time to realize that I need to just like really trust myself. And like there's been so many times where I put out a single where I was just like, I hate this song. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is the one. Like, even like, I remember I was watching this like Ed Sheeran documentary, and he was like making the best music of, like, it was very personal to him. It's his story. He did all this like recording like the craziest places on this beautiful ranch or this cruise ship, and just had so many memories about like making these songs.
Yeah.
Brought it to the label, and they were like, yeah, this is cool, but we need a radio song. And he was just like, they were so lucky that I had one more song in me. I mean, it was a huge song. It was like The Shape of You. But he was just like, they were lucky I had that in me because I didn't have anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I gave everything that I had in me in these songs, and they still were just like, this isn't enough.
Yeah. It's just like.
Well, so sometimes it is good to have like a push, but especially when you're someone like Ed Sheeran. But like, for me, it's kind of just like, I don't think I found my sound. They just tried to put whatever sound they thought worked for a female artist onto me. So it wasn't real.
And I think that's what I see a lot, is just because for a woman industry and a woman as an artist, I feel like there's like paradigms that they think works, and they just be like trying to fill a body in there and be like, all right, okay, this worked for Aaliyah and whatever. She reminds me of her. Let's try to make it a new Aaliyah, you know? And
that's
so
what sucks too, that like everyone's always trying to make someone the new something. Where it's like, why don't you create that new entity? Like, why are you trying to just piggyback off of something that already exists? Obviously, we all draw inspiration from something, but it's like people are just like straight up, like they don't care. They're just like following the same method, and that may work for some people, but for the artists that are really truly trying to like create longevity, that's not what's gonna work for them.
Yeah. Was there a time where you thought like, I'm fucking done, like I'm over?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I probably wasn't that long ago, like probably like last year, where I was just like, is it like, am I being realistic? And then I kind of like, I think about other artists and their like journey and their journey from like the beginning to like now, and there's so many. I feel like every artist has had that moment where they're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, is this real? Like, is this really going to work out for me? And when you hit that point, it's like the lowest of the low, because this is your dream. This is your babe. This is like, you can't picture yourself doing anything else. And then once you get past that, I feel like there's nowhere to go but up. Some people don't make it past that because they just let it eat them alive. And they're just like, it just completely like derails them, and they're just like, you know what, let me like, I was thinking to myself, like, should I actually like go to college and like get a real job? Like, should I look for a real job? Like, I mean, I could still be in the industry, like maybe I can work in like marketing or something. Like, I'm good at that. Like, I was thinking about what else I could do. And I was just like, no. I think I went into the studio or something like after that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm tight. Like, I'm tight.
About to fight so much.
I was just like, I'm actually like sick at making music. I just need to do what I need to do. I need to be myself and stop stop letting everything else and everyone else's opinions like really just discourage me. And so I stopped looking for that. I just made what I thought was tight. I didn't even like really play this project for my friends this time around.
So when did you decide to leave Rock and then Rock Nation, and then when did you start making Bear With Me? When did that process start?
Well, Bear With Me was made kind of in the transition process, because it was originally supposed to come out like through Rock Nation, and then I wasn't happy like for a while. Like, after the first year of being there, I realized, all right, like maybe this was like a mistake, but I'm here now, so I'm gonna like I'm going to try to like figure it out.
Make the best of it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make the best of it. And it just kind of just highlighted to me that like this was the same thing happening all over again. Like, as when I was with Atlantic. It was just like, it was weird. It's nothing personal like with anyone. Like, totally. Obviously, like, it's always like they're record labels. They're just doing their job. You know, they go to work and they leave. And that's it. Like, you really like, there's not a lot of people at labels that like actually there's so many things they have to pay attention to, so many different artists they have to pay attention to, like, and you have to be the one that's like, why should they pay attention to you? Yeah, they're on your project, but why should they give your project their all when they're also working on Rihanna, and they're also working on the new Jay-Z album, and they're also working on J. Cole's coming, and like this and this and that, and all these other people are coming. So why should we focus on you? Or you don't get like the full attention of it. And so you're like, everything gets kind of just like put on the back burner and then rushed whenever the time comes. So everything was like kind of like rushed, and And other things too that just like started to like not make sense. And it was just like, all right, this is not working for me. And I personally like felt like that for like a while. Like, but I was also scared because I've never like been without a label. So I'm just like, what is that going to be like? Like, I don't even know, like, what would I do? Like, how do I set up a session? Like, I don't know people. I don't know anyone. What am I going to do? I kept telling myself, like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to, like, I don't have a studio to work out of. And I was just like, wait, what the hell is wrong with you, girl? You know all these producers that you've worked with over the years. You know who you like, you know, you don't like. You have so many friends in this industry that you can just be like, yo, hook me up with this writer, or like, let me record this song at your studio. And like, you can actually like make music that has feeling to it instead of just like putting me in the studio with this producer who just like,
who you just met.
Yeah. Like that was like my least favorite thing to do. Like sometimes it worked out and then sometimes like it didn't. Like one of my favorite people in the industry is like James Fauntleroy, who's actually become like one of my really good friends. But like my first like go round and like writing and stuff like that, like he was just like, no, we're going to have 2 weeks. And the first like 3-4 days, we're just going to hang out. We're going to hang out. I'm going to get to know this person. Do I even like this person? Like what's her story? So like, that's what we did. And like, so it created like a bond for us for when it came down to writing, he like knew everything. He actually knew me instead of just like writing a song based on nothing. Like, oh, so what do you want it to be about? Well, I'm sad because my boyfriend is being stupid. All right, the song's gonna be about boyfriend's being stupid. Cool. But it's like, where's the depth in that? There's no like substance to it. And then another thing, Dream. Like I actually had to like, me and the Dream had like dinner before. He was like, what is this girl about? We had dinner, we talked, we like hung out, and then like we actually like drove around Soho, which was like so dope for me because I was like, this was like when I first got signed to Roc Nation. And I was just like, whoa, I'm riding around where I used to just hang out and loiter with my Tumblr friends with the Dream, going to the studio. This is crazy. Ended up making a whole project that went unnoticed with him, but still was, I think, very, very fire. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that, like I say all the time, like everything happens for a reason. Yeah. So throughout this process, I have made a lot of great friendships with some people that I know I have on my side, and some new friends who truly believe in me. And that's the thing too, like when it comes to me, I like to work with people who are like passionate about it. Like I don't want you to be like, I didn't care at first. I wasn't even aware of it at first. But then I started to realize, like by seeing the way that my peers moved, my friends moved and their teams, I was like, these people ride for them. Like they think they're the best rapper in the world. Like, there's no one better than this person. I was like, why doesn't anyone on my team feel like that? Like, every time I come to them with an idea, I mean, well, now I have that. But every time every time I would come, that's why I was just like, I want these people to come to me. Like, I want these people to want to work with me, not just me begging for something from them, you know? And I prayed on it. I prayed on it. And now the pieces are like coming together.
It definitely feels like this journey was one filled with obstacles that you have to maneuver from, and also self-growth where you went from just grown as a person, I feel like, and then you realize what you didn't want and what you want. Like, and I think that's me now as I've grown. I feel like that's what helps me in life. I think that's when things get simpler, when you understand what you don't want and what you want, and when everything else becomes like just silent. I feel like those first couple of years, especially you, like I said, you've been in a year, 7 years, which is like 40 human years, regular year. And so there's like the first like half of your life is just noise. It's just fucking noise.
And you're just like so excited to be at this award show.
Exactly. You
be around these people. And I'm just like at the Roc Nation brunch. Like, oh shit. Look at all these people, Beyonce, oh my God.
Then all this time passed, and then you realize you're fucking just stripped, you know? It's just like, what the fuck just happened? And then that's when you find yourself. It's like, all right, you know what? I don't like this shit no more. That's done. And then everything starts to make sense. And it feels like that's what it's been like for you, where it's like now, it's just like, I know what I want. It's just like, I don't like that. So I'm going to do this. Or I know this person is with me, so I don't need to work with that. And your birthday just passed. And so I'm curious because birthdays make you become reflective. So I guess when your birthday happened, like what was you thinking about? Like, wow, I'm 24 years old, minus the early midlife crisis. What was going through your mind? But when you look back, just like your journey.
Honestly, 23 was the worst year of my life. But it definitely made me a lot stronger. Because honestly, like, I don't know how much worse it could get than 23. I mean, it could, but we just gonna knock on this fake wood that it don't. But I feel like it prepared me for anything. I feel like I'm on the path to being like centered and just not letting things affect me as much as I've let them. And I just on the way to self-love.
Yeah. What are some of the things that are important to you now that weren't before?
Just putting my foot down. Like it wasn't important to me before because I was just like, oh, someone else will take care of it. But now I realize, especially being independent, that everything, like I need to be aware of everything. At first I was very just like, oh, someone else will deal with that. Like, I don't know. Like, it'll come to me when it's important or like, but everything's important. This is my business. This is my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm the face of it. So if this part crumbles, because something else behind the scenes made it happen, but I'm the one that gets the backlash from it.
Yeah.
So,
was it Equality Day just passed? Recently, I was just in discussion over like dinner with friends and just talking about like what has changed, what hasn't since we've grown, and especially, and then a couple of in the music industry, and they were just like, man, I wish the music industry can be as progressive as they project they are. So I'm curious to get your idea of just like, where do you think the music industry now in terms of just like equality or just like being just? We're just meaning like, if I say something, everyone listens as a Black woman. If I perform, I'm looked at the same as counterparts, and my counterparts as so. I
mean, to a certain extent, not. I don't know, man. This industry is just like weird and selective, and it's all about politics. At the end of the day, there's some people that like push through and they're the rebellious ones, and they'll always like be remembered. But then there's still that urge of like that industry kind of like, there'll always be like that top 40 person where it's just like they're extremely like powerful and what they say goes, and whatever they put out like will be number one, whether it's like some shit or not, or like, you know. And sometimes it's like unfair to like, but I feel like things are changing though, because especially with like streaming services, it definitely gives a lot of artists a chance, like a fighting chance to like be heard, especially like with the playlists and stuff like that. But even that sometimes is like a lot of politics as well too. Yeah. I was just talking about that today, actually. There's nowhere anymore for like the people to speak on what they like, where it's like we used to have SoundCloud and that was kind of like a community where people can be like, oh, I like this song, like, and you liking it bumps it up to the top. Instead, now it's just like we're given what we need to listen to. So, yeah. It's like, they're like, you should listen to this. You should listen to this. So it's like, if you cool with the people up at Spotify. And they your homies and you just put out a project, then boom, you'll be on there.
Right.
And then it's like, I feel like it's like 10% of like actual people that like have great music that make it up there. And then the rest is just like politics.
Yeah, I agree. And it's always like once something becomes a thing, whereas like SoundCloud was this place of just artists can literally go from 0 to 100 and it just be because of fans like voting it. I feel like once something becomes a thing, the industry kind of figures out how to monetize it. And then it just becomes like a marketing, manufactured machine.
That's why there's people like Frank Ocean, where it's like there's definitely those artists that like make music and are all about the music. Even like Adele, like there were those people that just like make their music and go in the cut. Even like Daniel Caesar's like that now. Like they just make their music and go in the cut, do their tours, go in the cut. Like they don't listen to know what they obviously like have some like higher ups like behind them, but like they are very them. And they do what they want to do. They'll put music out when they want to put it out. Nobody's gonna pressure them. No one's gonna like tell them what to do in a sense when it comes to like their art. They're just like, when I'm ready, I'll give it to you. And I don't care what anyone else thinks about it. I really don't. And I'll be back with my next project whenever I'm done with it.
How do you think they get that power?
Because like we try to act like, especially the industry, they try to act like they don't like that, but that's what the people love because that's what's real. They're telling their like real stories. They're living in their real lives and writing it in real time. That's why they like artists like Billie Eilish and like people that take a second to like really put the effort into their work. And they do it and it works for them because the people can feel it. I don't know. Everyone has a different way of like what works for them. And but for me, I'm not just trying to be here for today or tomorrow. Like I'm trying to be here forever.
Yeah. What are some things people don't know about you?
Things people don't know about me. I feel like people think that I'm supposed to be like a bubblegum princess all the time. And it's not really it. Like sometimes when people meet me, they'll be like, oh, she was such a bitch. And it's like, what did you want me to do, a backflip? Like, and I was like, hey, what's up? What else do you want from me? Like, what do you really want me to do? And then they're just like, I don't know, like be nicer. I'm just like, the guy said hi. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, give you $1? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You got any activities? You got like rock collections? You got like hobbies?
I binge watch stuff.
What's life when you binge watch?
The last thing I just watched Chernobyl, but I wouldn't say that's binge watching because it's a mini series, which was very scary.
Quality, also terrifying. Agreed.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I guess
actually happened.
The last show that I was like in love with, and it's, you know, like when you watch a good show and then like it's hard to like find another one after that.
Yes.
Everything else just sucks after you watch this like great show. So Money Heist was in.
Okay. I just got suggested that.
No. It took me a while to like
get over the voiceover, the English voiceover.
It took me a while to do that. And it took me a while because I was just like, damn, what the hell? This is in Spanish. Like, I'm not going to, like, I don't have time to, like, I have ADD. Like, I'm not going to sit there and read the subtitles. Like, what? Like, I'm going to miss something. And then I was like, they were like, oh, you can change the audio. And I'm like, so what? I'm watching like a kung fu movie? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's weird. And then I was like, do I just learn Spanish to watch this show? I'm like, everyone's talking about this crazy show.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I waited so long because I got to like I watched all 3 seasons. Like just like that was nothing. Like I would do my job, go whatever and do something, go to the studio, do this. And then when I was home, any free time I had, I was watching Money Heist. I was like, don't talk to me. Like, remember I was like getting my hair braided for like 6 hours, just like straight Money Heist. Like,
oh, wow.
It was the craziest thing. Like I stand.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna check that out. Cause this is like two people.
It's so crazy. And then there's this other one.
Yeah.
Which is like not another version of Money Heist, but it's like made by the same people. Kind of like a Ryan Murphy situation. Like he's like the Spanish Ryan Murphy, I guess. Yeah. And there's another one called Elite.
Okay.
That one's crazy.
I saw that on my suggestions.
Crazy.
Okay.
And it comes out, I think, September 6th.
Okay.
I'm just like so excited. Like I stand.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
And I have to wait till 2020 for the new Money Heist.
2020? Is it gonna wait? Damn. That's a while.
Well, not really. It kind of. It's a few months away.
Yeah. You're Jamaican.
Yes.
Favorite Jamaican dish?
Ooh, I actually just got back from Jamaica like 2 days ago. Nice. Well, 1 day ago. Yesterday actually. Damn, my favorite Jamaican. I'm not good at favorites.
Or dish. You can say do multiple.
Obviously like jerk chicken, like but like good jerk chicken, because like I hate white meat. Yeah. Like I hate white meat. I'm a dark meat kind of girl. Jerk chicken. I love bun and cheese. You know, like I really do love curry goat, but like I think goats are really cute, so I haven't been eating it. Like I'll eat curry chicken in substitute, but I do miss curry goat. Okay. Goats are so cute. What else? What else do I love? Just some good old stew chicken, oxtails. Yeah, love oxtails. And then what else? Oh, ackee and saltfish. Nice. That had that every single day when I was out there. Nice. And it's like, it's an acquired taste though, because when I was younger, I didn't like ackee. And then one day, I guess I was like really hungry and I just tried it and I was like, oh, this isn't that. I think I was scared of it. Like I was just scared of the texture. I'm like, this is not an egg, but it looks like an egg. So yeah, now I love it. I love Festival. Yeah. Festival is just like so good. Nice. What else? I love like Jamaican fruits too. Like I love guineps. I love June plums. I love like sugarcane. Just like all the stuff. I mean, like every time I go back to Jamaica, I'm just like, wow, this place is so lit. Like it's just really lit over here.
Yeah, I love Caribbean food. Is there a spot in New York that you recommend? Like, oh, if you want some good Caribbean food?
My auntie Claudette. I was literally just talking about her today. I was like, I need to call her. Like, she needs to like make me, because there's something. I was only in Jamaica for 3 days, so I didn't get to eat everything I wanted to, and I was just like, let me call my auntie Claudette.
Nice.
Right there in Flatbush.
Nice. Last question. If you had advice to an artist trying to find their voice, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that it's okay to make mistakes and don't let that completely discourage you. I feel like discourage has been a word that I said so much in this, but I feel like that an artist or not an artist, I feel like as a person in their younger life, like in their early adulthood, they feel like everything is the end of the world. Because I know that, like me, everything wrong that happens, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like I just want to, like I don't want to be here anymore. This is crazy. This is too much for me. Like life is crazy. I don't know what to do. And I'm always like having like a panic attack about like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world, and it's not really the worst thing in the world. You know, there's so many other things like happening, but like being an artist, it's the most vulnerable thing. You're like sharing your story with people. You're sharing your talents with people. Like, I think anyone that gets up on a stage to do anything is completely brave. Like, that's the bravest thing you can do. Just like putting yourself on a platform for people to judge you. And so I would say that just always stay strong-minded and follow your instincts.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.